Hi. Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. OBADA, you've been asking about it. We created this presentation in order to explain to you who we are, what we do, and how this is going to help. So we are going to go into 5 sections here. So first off, we are going to explain what OBADA is. Then we will discuss some of the opportunities in the ITAD space that we identified today, and then how our solution will enable simplified, secure business processes. Then before wrapping up, we will explain how it actually works, and then a call to action if you are interested in joining us, whom to contact and how. So today we have 4 participants to explain. First up, there's Rohi, who is the founder of who's really started the OBADA concept 4, 5, 6 years ago. And then Joe Marion and Dr. Belemki are going to help us. Also, they have significant industry experience. And then I will just serve today as your moderator. So first off, Rohi.
Thank you, G. And so let's talk about first, what is OBADA? I mean, ultimately, it's very simple. It's ultimately just an agreement. So there's a coalition of stakeholders here that have got together to develop an open standard to create a platform, a decentralized platform to enable traceability, cradle to grave traceability for any asset that has a serial number, essentially, anything that can be identified with an immutable identifier on the asset. If you want to think about it simply, you can just imagine all it really is like a big spreadsheet in the cloud. Let's just say we all share the same spreadsheet. And who owns the spreadsheet? Well, we all jointly own it. Whoever uses it can participate in the ownership. And the only thing you have to agree on if you're going to share a spreadsheet is the structure of the columns so that you put the data in the right place. And that really is what we're doing here. We're structuring data so that it can be shared across shared databases. So let's move on to the next one. So it's 2 different organizations that do this. The first one is a nonprofit called the OBADA Foundation, developing an open standard with ISO, the International Standards Organization. The standard is called Representing Physical Assets Using Non-Fungible Tokens. The type of NFT that we're creating is a digital product passport, and that is being implemented by the second organization, the OBADA DAO. A DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. So it is a formal legal structure that can interact with the real world, but it's not really a company. There's no one in charge. It's really just an agreement that's shared by the stakeholders on how to run the platform. It's autonomous. There's no employees. It runs by itself. It's just software. It runs on rules. The stakeholders vote on the rules. And it's an organization, not a company. There's 101 maximum seat holders in this organization, and each one of them has a vote. So the history is we've been doing this since 2017. I won't go through all the details here, but we started off for the first year or 2 just as like an informal working group that grew to about 100 people. And then ISO approached us, and we started developing this into a standard. And we did a number of different technical implementation proof of concepts. And it's just grown and became a legal entity. We incorporated the DAO, and now we're getting ready to go into production with an actual so-called blockchain this year, which we'll talk about a little more. But first, we're going to move on. I'm going to hand it over to Joe, who's going to tell us about some of the business reasons for doing this.
Thanks, Roy. I'm Joe Marion. I am president of the ASCDI. ASCDI is an international association of ITADs, Information Technology Asset Disposition Companies. ITAD today is being driven by the circular economy. The circular economy is made up of several players, end users, ITADs, dealers, brokers, refurbishers, recyclers, and end users. We all have a responsibility to make sure that the products that we're dealing with don't end up in landfills and that customers' data is protected. And that's really what ITAD is all about. But we can't meet our environmentally, social, governance responsibilities using old tools. And today it is a mess. We're using a lot of old tools. We send inventories around faxing or sending CSV files. When we wipe a drive clean, we fax or we email a PDF. Payments are done manually. It's a mess and it's not scalable. What we need to do is seamlessly share the data and our inventories. We have to have faith in the documents that we share. We have to make sure that when we say a product's drive is erased, it is erased. We have to make sure that the owner knows that it was done. We have to make sure that the products we're dealing with don't end up in landfills. We have to do away with the data silos that we've created. And OBADA has done just that. OBADA has created a simple, secure business processing tool, which will allow us to fulfill our ethical responsibilities in a scalable, efficient manner.
Okay, I'll talk a little bit here about the technology and the product. Very brief, I won't get technical. This is not a long section. We just have been doing this now for about 5 years, and we built the first proof of concept in a technology called Hyperledger, which showed us that this could be done. It was a little difficult to do, but we quickly converted, well, a year later, converted to a simulated blockchain, which allowed us to not worry about that component, but instead to test out the functions of the standard. The year after, in 2021, we moved to a real blockchain and tested that pretty much the whole year. And then last year, we started implementing the standard on a so-called real blockchain, enterprise DLT, based on the Cosmos SDK. And we are now we have nodes running, we're deploying it, and we are looking at going into a minimum viable production later this year. So what is this thing? So the DAO, the organization that's building the platform, the DAO members get the rights to the software, open source software, so they can modify it, they can install it. And it's essentially a one-stop, put it on a server and connect it to your inventory system. On the back end, it'll connect to either your inventory system or it can connect directly to the devices. Software on the devices can ping it once you set that up in your network. So from your inventory system, you can connect all your inventory, including proofs of data destruction, proofs of authenticity, through simple standard kind of industry APIs. So it's kind of like an out-of-the-box bolt-on thing that connects to your inventory system inside of your own network. And that contains everything you need for the blockchain. At the front end, you have a gateway, so you can give your customers access to it. You could push it up to your website. You could push it to some other website. It's up to you what you want to do with the data. The only way to get to the blockchain is through one of these nodes. So you, as a DAO member, the DAO members have the access point. And it also can act as a gateway to other blockchains. So larger DLT systems, say in one of the major, someone could set up NFTs in Ethereum and connect those NFTs to physical devices through your node. It's pretty exciting stuff. So now we'll talk a little more of the details and how it's paid for with Dr. Lemke.
So the way this will work in terms of document flow, like we just saw, all the documents can get uploaded, drive wipe reports, etc. So end users will provide any of these kind of documents: authenticity, data destruction, test results, disassembly reports, proof of recycling. Any of this documentation will get uploaded through a DAO member, an ITAD service provider, and then it gets uploaded to their node of this software, and then it's immediately broadcast and shared across all of the other copies of the nodes. And this is how we gain security, because no one can go in and manipulate anything, because it's stored on all these decentralized nodes. So the payment-wise, how does this work? The end customers will pay the ITAD firm, the DAO member, and then the cost of the system to operate the system is all transacted and just kept track of using what we call system credits. So the customer pays the ITAD member like always, and then the ITAD firm will pay a cost in the form of these system credits to upload it to the decentralized network. And then if we go to the next slide, what happens then is the firms who are collecting these payments then in turn distribute these system credits back across to all of the other members of the network. So we're not doing the transactions using some, cash-based system where we have banks involved in the whole process. This is going to minimize transaction fees for everyone, and by using micropayments and prepayments, we can make this system run as cheaply as possible for all the members. So we've mentioned the term DAO before, and we've had these terms on some previous slides, but it's a decentralized autonomous organization. And the members of the DAO are the ones who decide how this DAO is run. There is no president, there's no executive director, there's no board of directors. Any member of the DAO can make a proposal about some change that should be made to the operation of the DAO, and then all the rest of the members of the DAO will discuss it and vote on it. So there is no commissioner, executive director. The DAO can hire an employee to handle administrative tasks, but not for any strategic type of decisions. DAOs are a new type of legal entity, and so they're perhaps a new term to a lot of people. And you may think, well, why can't we do a trade association or something? Well, trade associations are different from companies, and we need the DAO because it allows us to give direct decision-making power to all the members of the DAO. And also this helps simplify that financial structure. So if you join the DAO, when you join the DAO, there are really three basic classes of benefits that the members enjoy. First of all, you get a chance to run a node. And so you can upload your device information. You can easily transfer devices to other members. You gain all the benefits of running a node. Secondly, you share in the fees collected from all of the other DAO members. And so you'll receive back these system credits, which will then in turn allow you to pay for the operation of your node. And then lastly, all the DAO members get to participate in any decision-making about future changes to the DAO, whether that's changes about the cost structure, if this is changes about policies, as if this is upgrades that need to be made to the software. Those are decided by the DAO members.
Thank you again for joining us today. We hope that we were able to address a number of your questions. If you want to learn more, please go on our website at www.obada.io. We have an FAQ page that hopefully will answer many more of your questions. And if you have any interest in joining our membership or joining a DAO, please email us at bizops@obada.io. Thank you. All right, I need to figure out how to stop the recording. We'll cut this at the end. Gosh, recording stops.